All right, hello again and welcome. As we continue our deep dive, today we're exploring a therapeutic framework that's really shaking up how we talk about mental health. It's called the Unity Method, and it starts from a place that's, well, pretty revolutionary. It doesn't ask what's wrong with you, but reminds you of what has always been right. Okay, let's get into it. Right here, this is the heart of it all. This is the core belief of the Unity Method. And you have to understand, this is a huge departure from 100 years of psychology that often, starts with the assumption that you're somehow broken. This one statement reframes the entire goal. Healing isn't about fixing a flaw. It's about remembering a wholeness that never actually left.
So how did we even get to a place where we felt so broken to begin with? Well, it starts with something that was created to help, but for many has turned into a kind of prison. The prison of labels. Now look, these manuals, they came from a good place. The idea was practical. They gave doctors, researchers, and insurance companies a common language to talk about different symptoms. It helped organize everything. In theory, it was a really useful tool for clarity.
And boom, that's the big question, isn't it? This is the central problem that the Unity Method really zeroes in on. What happens when a tool that's just supposed to describe a temporary struggle starts to define the person who's struggling? The label starts to feel less like a description and more like a life sentence. Pay close attention to this because the shift is so small but so powerful. It's just a couple of words. We go from having an experience to being an identity. Think about it. I have depression means it's something I'm carrying, but I am depressed. That's who I am. This tiny linguistic change can literally build a psychological cage around us, making us feel trapped and hopeless. So the Unity Method comes along and basically says, okay, we see the cage, here's how you unlock it. It's built on a pretty radical idea that just flips the whole script on its head. This, right here, is the bedrock of everything. The method says that trauma, pain, even the behaviors we don't like, they don't break us. They don't erase that core wholeness. They're just echoes of our story, strategies our brilliant minds came up with to survive. They are not and never were proof that we are defective. And this slide just perfectly captures that shift. Instead of a question that starts from a place of deficit, what's wrong with you? Unity asks a question based on experience. What happened to you? You feel the difference, right? The second question gives you your dignity back. It honors your story. It says your struggles are a logical response to what you've been through. So this is where it gets really interesting. We start reframing what we call symptoms. Through the Unity lens, these things aren't just random problems. Rage? That was probably a powerful way to protect yourself at some point. Withdrawal? A brilliant strategy to find safety when things felt unsafe. Anxiety? That's just your warning system that learned for very good reason to be on high alert. They were all adaptations that worked. Until they didn't.
Now, you might be listening to all this and thinking, okay, this sounds really nice and hopeful, but is it just a philosophy? Nope. It's actually grounded in hard science. It's built on the biological reality that our brains can and do change. For the longest time, the common wisdom was that the adult brain was pretty much set in stone. We now know that's completely wrong. Neuroplasticity means our brains are constantly rewiring themselves based on what we do, think, and feel. You've probably heard the saying, neurons that fire together, wire together. Well, it's literally true. Our experiences physically change our brain. And this is the science that makes this whole thing possible. It's the science behind the hope. Yes, we know that traumatic experiences can rewire our brains, creating highways for fear and anxiety. But here's the amazing part. The reverse is also true. New, safe experiences, things like good therapy, mindfulness, feeling secure with another person, they can also rewire the brain. They build new pathways for safety, calm, and connection. Healing is a neurological event. Okay, so if the philosophy is the why and neuroplasticity is the science behind the how, then what do you actually do? Well, the Unity Method gives us a real roadmap. It's structured around 5 pillars that work together to guide you back to that sense of wholeness. Let's just walk through these real quick because this is the actual pathway. Pillar 1, wholeness over wounding. It all starts here with that deep belief that you are not your pain. Then pillar 2, somatic restoration. This is huge. It recognizes that healing has to happen in the body, not just in our thoughts. Then we have pillar 3, relational repatterning, which is all about learning what safe connection with others actually feels like. Pillar 4, neuroplastic empowerment. You actually learn the science of how your brain works so you can become a co-creator in your own healing. And finally, pillar 5,
acceptance over forgiveness. This isn't about letting people off the hook. It's about radically accepting your own story so you can reclaim your power from it. It's a full journey.
So what does this actually look like for a person? I mean, how different is it, really? The difference between seeing someone through a lens of pathology versus a unity lens isn't just a small tweak. It changes everything about their journey.
Let's just take a look at Sarah here. Through the traditional lens, she gets a diagnosis, BPD. She's seen as broken, unstable, resistant. The treatment is all about managing her broken parts. But look at her through the unity lens. Suddenly, she's not broken, she's whole. Her intensity isn't a symptom. It's a brilliant survival strategy she developed because she was afraid of being abandoned. Her emotions aren't a problem, they're a source of vitality. And her healing? It's not about symptom management. It's about rewriting her story to one of power. I am not borderline. I am someone who learned to fight fiercely for love. It's the same person, but a completely different and infinitely more hopeful story.
And that's really the bottom line here. The way we measure success in the unity method isn't just about ticking boxes on a symptom checklist. It's about a restored sense of dignity. It's about an increase in what we call self-efficacy, that deep down belief that you can handle your life, that you can navigate your own feelings. It's about going from being a patient to being the author of your own life story. So I want to leave you with this question. It's not just for the Sarahs of the world, it's for every single one of us. Who would you be, what could you do, without the story that you are somehow broken? It's an invitation to imagine a reality where our scars aren't proof of damage, but a testament to our incredible resilience. A reality where healing isn't about becoming someone different, but finally, remembering the whole amazing person you've been all along. Thank you.